Alright, it's Henry again, and this is my review of the Robot Damashii Leo. Alright, so here is the Leo, and I have to say this is probably the best Leo Bandai has made so far. Not that Bandai has made very many Leos, but I think this is their best one yet. Anyway, the colors are very, very accurate to the Leo. It's got a nice muted green to it, almost kind of an olive drab color. And then the joint parts are actually kind of a brownish color, which is the way they're supposed to be. It's got brown joints rather than gray joints. And then he's got a few of these light gray highlights, thrusters, and little circular parts on the ankles, missiles on the chest, for example. And the gold for the camera eye is actually a really nice luminous gold. So, really good looking. The proportions are really, really nice. I like that a lot. And the detail and the sculpt is also really good. Got no complaints with that at all. So, in the box you're obviously going to get a Robot Damashii Leo. This is kind of a small, simple Robot Damashii. You don't get a lot. You get a machine gun. You get 5 different hands, the 2 fists that come on the Leo, and then you'll get 2 weapon hands and an extra hand that's used for holding the gun. I'll show you that later. And you get a Damashii stage connector, and a special little connector that will go into some of the hardpoint attachments. It'll let you connect the gun to the body. Again, I'll show you that later on. And then you also get a sheet of instructions showing you how to do all the stuff that I'm about to show you in this review. Anyway, I guess we'll go ahead and start off with articulation. So, the Leo does not have a posable head. If some of you saw my 1 to 100 scale Leo that I made last year, in the work in progress videos I actually couldn't decide whether or not I should give the head rotation or not. And it looks like Bandai can't figure out whether or not Leo has head articulation or not either, because they gave him a fixed pose head in the Robot Damashii figure, but with the option set you get a posable head. So looks like nobody really knows for sure. I guess we'll just have to accept that either way is acceptable. So anyway, you can pop the head off, and you can see the ball joint there for the optional head that has mobility. But this one doesn't move at all. Anyway, on to the arms and shoulders. You've got a joint inside the torso that's going to give you a little bit of forward and back, and a little bit of up and down, not much. And then the actual shoulder joint is going to be able to go up about that far. And of course it will go 360. And you've got a little bit of wiggle room in there as well. That's a ball joint for the shoulder. Shoulder armor can go up and down. When you flip it up, you reveal one of the hardpoint attachments there. I'll go over that later. At 360 below the shoulder, you get a single jointed elbow, not a double joint, but despite being a single joint, you get pretty much a full 180 degree bend, which is really impressive considering it's just a single jointed elbow. And the wrists are on ball joints, actually a double ball joint, so plenty of posability there. Onto the torso, you've got 3 points of articulation of the torso, here, here, and then down at the waist. So you've got lots of forward and back and side to side, so good range of movement for the torso. The shape of the skirt armor kind of prohibits the rotation. He's only going to rotate about that far to each side, so you're not going to get 360, but then again, do you really need 360 in the first place? The waist section is one of the parts that I really like, because in every other Leo model kit, or actually the only Leo model kit Bandai has made, and I believe on the MSIA Leo that came out in the early 2000s, the waist section was just one solid part that didn't have any moving parts at all. But on this Robot Damashii, we get actual movable skirt armor. these tiny little front skirts are kind of hard to grab onto, but they are on ball joints. They can go up and down and rotate and wiggle around, so I thought that was a really nice touch. And the side skirts as well are also on ball joints, so they don't have a lot of up and down movement, but they do have some rotation. The back skirts, however, are not movable. They don't move at all. They're just kind of fixed in place. However, the thrusters up under the back skirts are on a ball joint, so they can wiggle around a bit. Anyway, the hips are on ball joints, so they can move up quite a bit thanks to the movable skirt armor. And the knee is double jointed, and you got movable knee armor, and I have to say I really like this movable knee armor a lot. They've made a little indentation here on the back of the leg to kind of make room for it, but you know, previously on other Leo model kits, the knee bent like that, or on my 1/100 scale Leo, it bends like this, and that's about it. But having the double joint with the movable knee armor, I think looks really, really cool. In fact, I really want to incorporate this knee design on my Oz Project Leo. Anyway, moving on to the ankle. The ankle armor is just loose. It's not really attached to anything. It just kind of floats on top of these little circular parts. But you do get a double jointed ankle. As you can see, that little circular part kind of moves separate from the leg and the foot. And you've got plenty of side-to-side movement, up and down, and pretty much 360 rotation. And then in the foot, you've got a joint that moves up and down like so. So that just about does it for articulation. Really, really good posability on this figure. So now let's go ahead and move on to the weapons and accessories. Or I should have probably said the weapon, singular, because he does only come with one, the machine gun, although it does look really nice. It's got 3 different colors on it, kind of a dark gunmetal, a lighter metallic silverish color, and then kind of a purple for the camera on the front. The sculpting on it is very, very nice. It's well detailed. And you get 2 weapon hands. One for the right, one for the left, and he can hold the machine gun just fine in either hand. And being a relatively small to medium-sized weapon, you're not really going to have any weight issues with it at all. He can hold it out at full extension, no problems in the least. The wrists are nice and tight, but you'll probably end up having him holding it something like this. Now another option they give you for the hands is this hand, which isn't completely closed. As you can see, the thumb and fingers don't touch, so they're not connected together. And they give you this hand so you can grab onto this handle on top of the machine gun and use it with a two-handed approach, if I can get it on there. There we go. And just have to kind of position it in the right way, and there you go. Now I've got a nice two-handed attack with the machine gun, and I actually like this pose quite a lot. It was actually used pretty often in the show. Most of the time when you saw the Leo attacking with the machine gun, you'd be holding it with 2 hands like this. Now one other option Bandai gives you for the machine gun is this little connector piece right here. And basically you're going to plug the handle of the machine gun into it like so, and you've got 6 different connection points on the Leo to which you can attach that. You've got 1 on the side of each leg. You could attach it like so, have it mounted to the leg for storage. And to me this is the most practical of the 6, or 3, it's really 3 pairs. You've also got 2 on the back. You could connect the machine gun like that, or put it in an angle even if you wanted to, like so. And then, like I showed you earlier, you flip up the shoulder armor, and there's 1 on the shoulder. And to me, this one is kind of the least practical of the 3. But if you really want to have the machine gun attached to the shoulder, you can certainly do that. And one last feature of the Leo is that you get this little Damashii stage connector piece, and it's going to fit right between the back skirts. And I don't have a Damashii stage display base, but an action base 2 will work just fine. And before we wrap up, I do want to do a couple of quick size comparisons. Here is the Robot Damashii Wing Zero. As you can see, a little bit taller than the Leo. Of course, the shoulder armor and the wings make him even bigger, but head height, he is just a bit taller than the Leo. And here is the old 1:144 scale Leo model kit. And, yeah, this is really, really primitive compared to the Robot Damashii Leo, even though it's a model kit, not an action figure. Still, overall, just everything about the Robot Damashii is better than the old Leo model kit in terms of sculpt, detail, articulation, everything's better. Well, that about does it for my review of the Robot Damashii Leo, and this is a fantastic action figure, it really is. In my opinion, the best representation of the Leo that Bandai has made so far. Again, like I said, they haven't made very many, but this one is definitely the best. My only real complaints about the figure are he does have a few nub marks, which usually you associate that with plastic model kits, but action figures are made the same way. It's a bunch of plastic parts made on a runner and then they're cut out and assembled. The only difference is they do it in the factory for you instead of you having to do it yourself. But like here on the ankle armor, they got some nub marks, and a couple on the shoulder armor as well. But overall, they're not bad. They're just, usually they're not that noticeable on an action figure. And another very, very, very minor complaint is that I wish the camera eye was a little bit bigger. It just looks a little too small, but then again, that's just a nitpick. Overall, I think it's a great figure. The detailing is very nice. The colors are spot on. The posability is fantastic. The only place where it really suffers is that you only get the machine gun and a couple hands, and that's pretty much it. It's a very, very small, simple action figure. Is it worth the price? I don't really think so. Of course, then again, I think most Robot Damashis are overpriced. Maybe it's just me. I'm used to paying prices for model kits where you get a bunch of unassembled parts. You have to do all the work yourself. Then again, here, all of the assembly and painting has been done for you. So I guess that explains the higher price tag. But anyway, overall, a really good figure. If you like Gundam Wing, or if you like Grunt mobile suits, or if you just like the look of the Leo, I'd say definitely try and pick it up. So, that about does it for this review, and with that, I'll see you guys next time.